everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aisha and today I'm volunteering for Thalassemia Relief. This charity has just started this January and the aim of this charity is to help thalassemia patients for their blood transfusion, iron chelation, for the transport from the hospital to the home. We are here today to meet a very special guest today in Bradford, one of the Thalassemia Bradford clinic. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Please tell me your name and what kind of job you do related to thalassemia patients.
Okay, so my name is Sobia Khan and I'm the hemoglobinopathy counsellor here in Bradford. I've been working here for almost 20 years, alhamdulillah, and have had the privilege to serve the people, the community of Bradford with that have thalassemia. And my main role is to educate and support the families who have thalassemia, and also to educate the health professionals that look after the patients. And so that means educating the ward staff and the hospital, as well as the GPs in the community, the health visitors, the midwives. So there's a long, yes, there's a lot.
So tell us about thalassemia. What kind of condition it is for the people who doesn't know about this condition or never heard of it. How do you explain this condition to them?
So the condition is the one that we tend to educate or support people with is beta thalassemia major. It's a transfusion dependent condition. And our aim is to raise awareness of how the condition can not only be managed but also how to prevent the condition from occurring in the first place. So we're very fortunate in the UK to have an antenatal screening program. We also have a newborn screening program that works hand in hand, but mainly the antenatal screening program has been built or has been implemented so that we can pick up women in pregnancy that have a variant, a hemoglobinopathy variant, which is significant, so such as thalassemia, and there's another condition called sickle cell. These are the two main ones that are picked up that are significant. In the antenatal period, it is potentially quite late at that stage, because you're already pregnant and the whole process begins after the pregnancy. But what we do is that once a lady who is pregnant is identified with a healthy carrying condition, such as beta thalassemia trait, we then offer a screening for their partners, their husband, and they are screened. If they are screened and the results come back normal, and that's absolutely fine, that's really good news for everyone. But unfortunately, there are those couples that aren't aware that they are carriers of beta thalassemia, and then are identified as being at risk of having a child with beta thalassemia major, and that's 1 in 4 chance in every pregnancy.
I understand. I know that there is a rule in Pakistan now that they test for couples for this thalassemia trait before their marriage. Is there any rule in UK implemented?
No, that happens in Pakistan,
Yeah.
because I wasn't aware of that. I know there are pockets of regions where perhaps that would be advisable and is implemented, but as far as the UK is concerned, our laws aren't there to that extent.
Right.
There are countries around the world, such as Cyprus, and within the Middle East, where the law does implement the fact that you have to be screened before marriage. And we start with raising awareness within the family. So if we see and screen a patient or a person who's come through either the GP, if they've got a family history, or if they walk into our clinic and require a blood test, we then educate the whole family and make them aware that if you are a healthy carrier of beta thalassemia, that's absolutely fine, but you need to be aware of when you come of age, or when the time comes where you wish to have a family, where you want to be married to someone, it's best for you to screen the partner to be
In your experience, how do people take this news when they've been informed that they're pregnant with this condition kid?
That's the most difficult time that you can ever break the news, because you especially when you're having a child, you're full of joy, happiness, and you're looking forward, and you make all these plans of either what you're going to name the baby, or what the room's going to be like, what clothes you're going to be buying. So there are all these happy thoughts and feelings going on. And then we unfortunately then have to tell them that there could be a possibility that the baby that you're carrying could have beta thalassemia major, and that's a real big blow to the couple. So it entails intense counselling and support. In this country, we do offer a prenatal testing.
Okay, I want to know what are the major difficulties caused by this disease in the patients who got this?
The main issue is the fact that obviously you have to have regular blood transfusions.
Okay.
And that is the biggest hurdle for the parents to overcome, to come to terms with the fact that your child will now need regular blood transfusions and for the rest of his life. So they will not only have a transfusion, but you will need to take your child at least twice.
And is there any side effects to blood transfusion?
Yes, there's a build-up because of the regular transfusions they have. The children are exposed to excess iron. Excess iron, we hear of anemia, but the other hand to anemia, the other side of anemia is when you're exposed to too much iron, and that causes a build-up of iron in your organs, in particular your heart, your liver, and that's one of the things that we have to manage. So once a child has a transfusion for at least a year, they are introduced to iron chelation therapy. And there are iron chelators, and also oral chelators, and also the subcutaneous chelation therapy, and that needs to be taken on.
What will happen if a patient is not able to take the chelation and not able to afford these kind of medication? What will happen to the patient?
So in the UK, we're very fortunate in the developed countries that we don't have any issues in regards to whether we can access chelation. If you don't, then unfortunately it does cause damage to the organs, and there's iron overload in the major organs such as the heart and the liver. And
please tell me about why this iron chelation is so important in these patients.
So as well as blood transfusion, iron chelation is just as important. They both work hand in hand. Because of the regular transfusions that individual has, there's a build-up of iron, and the build-up of iron would occur in the major organs of your body, which could cause damage or does cause damage, and therefore it's just as important to remove that excess iron. So it's opposite to anemia, where there's not enough iron. Here we're talking about too much iron that needs to be removed.
There is one of the Thalassemia Centre in Azad Kashmir where this charity is working right now, and there are patients which are 99.9% are not able to afford these medications. So I want to know your opinion on this. When the patient are not able to afford this, what are their life expectancy, and how do you see they can survive without the actual medication just based on blood transfusion?
I wouldn't like to quote any figures of what their life expectancy is. Every individual is different, but it would reduce it drastically, because we would not ever think of in the UK to give transfusion and not to give chelation therapy. It just doesn't work like that. We have to work hand in hand, both transfusion, then giving iron chelation. That is just as important. And yes, tragically, in Pakistan, there is a shortage of blood firstly, and then of course the extra medication. And I think there's a lack of awareness as well of why it's so important to have iron chelation.
And what do you say to those people who are not afraid to give blood transfusion, especially in Pakistan, and they don't know that education, that how important it is to give blood transfusion, especially for thalassemia patients? What do you say to them?
I think worldwide, everyone, there is a reluctancy to give blood.
Yeah.
In Pakistan, there are many issues. In the UK we have screening,
Yeah.
where we screen the bloods and make sure everything is done properly in accordance, so that the patient or the person who's donating the blood is safe, and the recipient is also safe. So there's lots of screening and protocols to follow. So there may be a hesitation in Pakistan that whether that protocol is in place, but giving any blood, a drop of blood, is so valuable to life.
Yeah.
And we know of hadith, and we know of the commandments of Allah, that how giving this charity is going to benefit not only the patient but also our lives as well. So to do this valuable work, we can't be grateful enough.
Okay, Sobia, so please tell me about the importance of blood clots for this disease. How does it play an important role in patient's life?
It's an excellent, absolutely brilliant idea to have the thalassemia camps, not only to engage the community, make them aware the importance of donating blood, but also helping these families that are struggling to find donors. So it's an absolutely brilliant idea to actually go to the places, the regions which are struggling with patients that are trying to find money with their children that often are very sick to travel, due to the fact that they're not having sufficient treatment, the blood transfusions as well as the chelation therapy and everything else that could be going wrong in their body. It is it's in the UK, everything is on hand, but we do find patients at least a week prior to their transfusions do struggle. They have constant aches and pains, throbbing pains in their body, headaches. So I can't imagine what those poor families in Pakistan would be going through. So yes, to have a camp at the doorstep is just.
I want to know your opinion about Thalassemia Relief. What role is this charity playing in these patients' life?
I thought it was a fantastic idea when I heard about it. The fact that they offer 100% free treatment, from blood transfusion to chelation. It's absolutely amazing how they're doing so much hard work and such charitable work. We've heard of places in Pakistan where they do offer transfusions from time to time, but to give 100% donation is just amazing. Yeah. So for Thalassemia Relief to provide 100% for all the treatment and transfusions long term is absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much, Sobia, for your time and for awareness of thalassemia. So thank you guys for watching. This is me signing off, and please keep supporting Thalassemia Relief.
Thank you. Please help and support Thalassemia Relief.